So is there like a plan to date for the project you guys are working on?
Soon.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
We're both busy girls. It's hard.
Come on.
Soon.
It is. We did
Don't
do
give him
our
that
one
kind of
thing.
pressure.
What's up, busy babies?
Yes.
Hey-o.
We have a special guest I would love to introduce. This is MER BEAR. She is a divine, wonderful woman who is an epic DJ that tours all over.
Amazing.
And makes people want to boogie and dance and bring light to their spirits. So
I
welcome.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks for coming on the podcast.
I want to boogie.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Did you bring a little taste right now?
Yeah, I'm ready to bring the party. Let's
In
go.
my nature. Take control. It's in my
man.
nature. Woo!
Oh,
Now,
yes,
that's
your
your guys'
the
song. Yeah,
Our
yeah.
song.
It's like, that sounds familiar.
You're like, wait, I know that one.
That's my shower song.
Really?
Yeah, just pop it on.
That
Some
makes my
nature.
heart so happy right now, Jake.
Are you, so you're
get you
so
hyped up.
It does.
you like to listen to music in the shower?
I said song. I listened to one song.
Only
In
hours.
my nature. Yeah, it's like
Designated
Yeah,
shower
right.
I know exactly
All right,
how long.
time for showering.
I'm like, Alexa, play playing in my nature.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Amazing.
Nice.
Yeah, I just leave
Wow.
my door open. Addie looks at me on the couch, just like, what is wrong with him?
Well, he's in his nature.
Yeah, man.
Nature.
He's always
Say,
so.
man.
So my puppy's name is Atlas, and he thinks the shower is like a creature, like a monster. So every time I'm in there, he always looks like, oh my God, Dad's going back in. Like, what is he doing? Like every time I shower.
It's like what it reminds me of every time I turn the vacuum on with my dogs. They like
Oh, dude,
they
it's
try to
so
fight
funny.
The vacuum.
He always tries to
You
fight
have
it.
dogs?
Yeah, our family's dogs.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm your family.
That would be that would be
know where our animals
one of the
went.
best running gags ever. Is if you had a dog and every time Kirsten came, you like had to put it away and she never knew.
Oh my gosh, you can't find out. Yeah, I
Yeah.
get cleaners
No,
in 30
he
minutes
said
before she comes
dogs.
in.
He didn't even say dog.
Well, you haven't met the other one either. So, so I mean, that's a good thing.
We just always had so many dogs.
It's
And
like,
every
I
time
don't
it was
have-
time to clean the house, turn the vacuum on, they would try to fight us.
I don't have side women. I have side dogs.
Yeah, apparently. Well, at least
Way better.
Yeah.
Way better. I'm okay with that. Go for it.
Well, MER
That's
BEAR,
hilarious.
thanks for coming to the show. Welcome.
Yes.
We're
guys.
going to
Yeah.
talk your head off for the next hour, and I hope you can hang.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, so number one, so DJing, yeah. What?
Yeah.
How? Where did
Yep.
Where did you find it? Like, where were you? Like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
move into the
Yeah.
DJ realm. B,
How'd you get into it?
What was the thank you. What was the catalyst? Like, what started it all? Were you always musician, then moved to DJ, or
Yeah, so I kind of started, I was always into music when I was a kid, and I kind of got my friends to do band stuff with, like I did Battle
Oh,
of the
serious?
Bands, and we won one time.
no shit?
Nice.
Awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. Like I've always played music. I've played keys and piano. I've taken piano lessons, but I didn't really enjoy it as much back then. I was kind of like, you know, when you were forced to do piano lessons.
It's a staple. It's like anything. Yeah,
But
when you're
now
growing
I'm
up.
like, okay, I'm glad I did that because I love it.
And it stuck with you.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
really stuck with me. I did musical theater, and then I kind of like in high school wasn't really into all that, and then in college I reconnected with it and fell in love with like I would go to Vegas all the time. And honestly, that's when I like fell in love with the DJing and all that.
Wait,
And
where are you from?
I'm from LA, and then I went to school in Sonoma,
Okay.
Sonoma State.
Yeah.
So I was up in the Bay, and we would go to Vegas a lot. We would go to shows in San Jose and San
Gotcha.
Francisco.
Okay.
And
She's a Cali girl.
yeah,
Okay,
Cali
so
girl.
you're a unicorn. You're one of the Cali girls.
That's rare.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
The locals.
Yeah.
I know people say that. I guess it is.
Well,
You're like, what did you guys do coming all over to our
I don't know.
city?
I stand by this. Almost every, not even almost, literally every local I've ever met is so chill. And it's always frustrated me when other people are like, oh, well, Californians are assholes. And it's like, no. From my experience, it's not the Californians are assholes. It's the assholes that migrated from their cities because they thought California is the place assholes are. And so they have, and so they have become this like unit.
Yeah,
And
that's
they're,
so
you know what
funny.
I mean? It's true. It's like almost most people that I meet that are locals are just like the sweetest people because you have to be because you have all these people coming in all the time trying to like quote unquote own the city or be that thing. And it's like they're always typically the just most chill people. So everyone out there, it's not Californians that are assholes, okay? It's like your cheerleader in high school that you hated that thought she was better than the high school that moved to LA. That's the asshole, all right? Sorry, I just had to
That
get
was
that.
a good analogy
I
there,
had to get
Jake.
that out. I'm
Yes.
sorry. I'm done.
I do have a question for you. What was your first ever gig
Okay.
as a DJ?
My first ever gig was in college, and it was for a fashion show. And I used to do like modeling for this boutique brand back in Sonoma, and they posted on their Instagram, looking for DJs for our fashion show. And I just reached out, even though I had no experience at all.
But that shows a lot about your character. You went
Yeah, I was
for it.
like, that's kind of how I do things. I just sign myself up for it, and I'll figure it out. And
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
The rest is
So-
history.
I like that.
Exactly.
I like that. That's a good way of going about things. It's like you're always testing your fear.
right,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
That's
are
kind
you-
of what you
are-
have to do.
Are you kind of like building your own business and getting your own bookings, or do you like work with a manager that kind of gets shows for you?
So I do my own bookings and I get my own stuff. So it's a hustle, but
Yeah,
of course.
thankfully with doing this for so many years now, I've kind of just built my relationships with people that will reach out to me every month. And
Nice.
yeah, and then I kind of just fill in the blanks with other
That's awesome.
newer gigs, and I try to do more traveling, and I want to do more
Mm-hmm.
festival gigs. So now I'm starting to get those,
Yeah.
and it's just starting to grow more. So
Okay.
That's awesome.
thank you.
This is something that I've always been so curious about. And I guess it's could be a really dumb question. Is I know with piano, you practice piano, right? You practice the technical stuff, and you practice playing songs, and then same with guitar, technicalities and playing songs. But DJing is such an interesting thing. How do you practice DJing? Like, how do you, what does that look like? Like, I know if I'm, but,
It's a good question.
yeah, because I know
a
if
good
I'm
question.
going to play piano, it's like, okay, today I'm going to practice my scales. Then after my scales, maybe some inversions, and I'll play a song or whatever. These are all things within, same with guitar. But DJing, I'm like, oh my God, where do you even start? It's like, okay, today I'm going to practice the turntables or what, how does that?
Well, a lot of it is like just downloading music and figuring out what your vibe is. And even when I first started DJing, I would like practice other people's sets. Like I loved Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
I studied her mixed mag sets,
we
and I
got to see you.
Wow.
we got to see her. Even though Kirsten was
Even
so
though
tired,
I was
felt
so mad.
bad.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm so dead. She's like, this is my favorite DJ. And I'm like,
gotta
and
say.
there's this one guy the whole time, like,
Yeah.
this. And I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh man.
It was like that last hour of EDC when we were all reaching our point. But thankfully,
it was good.
Yeah.
But she killed it, actually. She was
She
one of the best
did.
ones.
Well-
Sorry to interrupt, but yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say you guys performed together in EDC,
Yes.
right?
That's
It was
sick.
awesome.
So
How was that
fun.
Thanks to Mare Bear.
experience?
She was like, hey, I've got this gig at EDC, no big deal. You want to perform our song? And I'm like, yes, I do. And so we tore the house down.
That was
Was
an
that-
amazing experience.
Was that your first time at EDC?
I've been to EDC a lot of times now since like 2018. I've been going.
Oh shit! Wow.
But yeah, that was my first time playing
Mm-hmm.
at EDC, and it's always been number one on the list. I mean, going back to
Oh,
the
so
Live
that was-
Nation days,
Yes.
like I've always, it was such a full circle moment.
Oh, so that was a great, that was a great feeling.
And
man.
she did
Yeah.
a 2-hour set.
That's huge.
Wow.
It was
She
supposed to
killed
be
it.
an hour, and then
Yeah.
thankfully,
How do you stay energized?
I was gonna
going. I don't know. I just love
Yeah.
it, you guys. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love. That's what keeps me going, and even if I am tired, I mean, coffee. But
Yeah.
Coffee.
Well, we
you
actually
know.
spoke about that in a previous episode. It's like, if you're doing what you love, that's what's going to really power you through everything.
I know. I'm just thinking like you're 2 hours.
Yeah.
Who's still with me?
Yeah.
So, like,
Do you ever have to
Yeah.
like cover your ears or something like that? Or is like that like being right there? It's like that's what's fueling you. You don't even focus on that.
yeah, I don't really notice it too much. I do have like earplugs.
Yeah.
Now I wear custom earplugs that protect my ears for those long
Sure.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if it doesn't feel loud, if I'm doing like a 4 hour, sometimes I do 4 hour sets. That
Yeah.
are like, it's still a lot.
4 hour sets. Okay, wow.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
nuts.
I prefer the 1 to 2 hours now. But
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but you are able to do that. And I think that what makes a great DJ is the transitions and like how you connect the not stopping people from the vibe they're in, and that's what and you do that
Right.
very
And that's
well.
like house music
Yes.
stuff too. It's very
Yeah.
much like
Keep
upbeat,
people there.
keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
like someone I've become obsessed with is Fred again. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's
God.
good.
I've
Killed
become
it too.
so obsessed with him. I love him so much. So when you're listening to music, are you just constantly thinking like, oh, I can take this and put it with this? Or like, is that kind of
Yeah.
like how your brain basically observes music these days?
Yeah, I will say I do always get inspiration from little things,
Yeah.
and I definitely when creating my own music too, and I definitely tap into that.
And
for
then
sure.
are you, obviously sampling's a big part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you, well, I guess this goes back to like a further thing. Okay. So before DJing, something I was meant to ask in the beginning is you obviously are kind of classically trained, like growing up, right? Like playing piano and stuff, or in that nature. And then you did Battle of the Band. So were you an artist first? And then, I mean, I'm not saying DJ's not being an artist, but I'm saying like, did it start as like a singer-songwriter situation or something like that and then move into DJing, or how did that?
Yeah, it started more as DJing. That's kind of how I started, but I definitely had that musical background. So I find like when it came to mixing and stuff, I always,
Right.
I don't know, use my ear for that.
Yeah.
And I think mixing in key and stuff like that, that definitely helps.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say like I've always had the aspiration of being a DJ producer.
Cool.
But I started out with DJing because in college, that's kind of all I was able to do at the moment. I didn't know how to produce. And that took me so many years to figure out. I started like learning Logic at first in 2017. And then I got Ableton and then
you
during
switched to Ableton?
COVID. Yeah. And then that's when I really like actually learned how to do it because you have to just really sit down and
Yeah,
spend
yeah, yeah.
hours
Right.
at that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
That's what life, is.
Yeah.
It's a long journey of things we like to do.
Yeah.
It's true.
And you were saying you travel to Vegas a lot. So do you perform a lot?
Yeah,
Like
well,
frequently in
Vegas is the goal. The first time I played in Vegas was for EDC. I would go to Vegas in college just for fun and networking
Sure.
and meeting people, and that's how I kind of learned about the industry and figured out, okay, this is what I want to do. Because I went to college for business, but I kind of always had the aspiration to like become a DJ. I knew I couldn't do that right away, so that's why I just decided to get into the music business side of things, and then.
What were you studying in school? Was it music related?
No, I went
okay.
to school for business administration and concentration in marketing.
Gotcha,
And then
gotcha.
I just fell in love with like going out, honestly, going to DJ, seeing DJs perform, and I fell in love with that.
Yeah.
So it's like I want to do this.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It takes a while.
Equipped
So.
you with a lot of like skill sets on how you got your gigs though, and like how to negotiate things,
For
and how to
sure.
talk to
Right,
people,
right.
and like how you do. I mean, you carry a camera, and like you've started to do a lot of social media and become more creative. How is that kind of journey going for you? And what do you think is the hardest and best part about it?
Yeah, so I think, well, number one, DJing, like relationships, that's kind of how I've just like grown my connections and stuff throughout the years. And I feel like that's kind of what a lot of DJing is like you build relationships with people and they want to book you for things. And I don't know, just keeping those relationships. So that, and then with, in regards to the social media stuff, I just enjoy like making videos, and I've just fallen in love with like the YouTube stuff, even though my vlogs, I just do those for fun. And
But they're killer. They're awesome.
Yeah.
that was
Yes.
free to see. But yeah, and the recording mixes and stuff too. I really enjoyed like the long content form stuff. I'm trying to learn TikTok and like getting into that too, because I know
we
that's
all?
so
I
important.
think we're all doing that. Here. Okay,
man.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
What do you do to stay like alive during the constant moving and traveling and gigs? Like, what are some of your health and wellness tips, or how to like navigate stress?
It's a good question.
I like that.
Well, honestly, I do let it get to me sometimes, but I try.
Finally, an honest answer.
It's really hard sometimes, but I honestly just like keeping myself busy and having something to look forward to, like giving myself a project for the week. And, for the example, this week I want to finish a remix, and because you have to kind of just like motivate yourself when you're doing it all on your own too. So that's kind of like how I stay motivated. And as for like health stuff, I try to give myself some time to like recover after these long weekends, because I sometimes DJ like nonstop. I mean, it's every day throughout the weekend or even through the week I do stuff. So yeah, I just find time to like rest in between and catch up on sleep and find time for friends too. It's hard. You have to like, everyone has opposite schedules. So.
If you could rate your like favorite type of thing to DJ and your least favorite kind of thing to DJ, where does the scale go? Like, what's like an ideal? Like, if you could get a residency at like a pool bar or a residency at like a nightclub, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where's the place where you're DJing and you're just like, happy birthday to Kevin? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm trying to do like more of the club gigs. Like I
Gotcha.
just did Avalon last weekend and
sick.
open and close for Audion, which was really cool. And that was like probably one of the bigger shows I've done with a full club, like high energy. So yeah, that was really
Nice.
fun. I love those
That's
kind
huge.
of gigs. I love the
Yeah.
festival gigs now that I've done like few this
You
summer.
just did one
which
with
is-
Millennium, right?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
I did
really?
Horizon
Sick.
That's
Festival in
huge.
San Diego, which was a huge moment too.
Yeah.
So the guy that booked me for my first gigs in San Diego, he's been supporting me for these past couple of years, and he put me on for that one. So shout out Night Access, shout
awesome.
out Matt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love doing the festival ones, and I will. Yeah, I do like some gigs that I may not enjoy as much, but I try to just look at every gig as an opportunity. Like
Right.
even if I
Yeah,
am doing a 4-hour like background vibe set,
Yeah.
I mean, you never know who could come up to you or who could be like, oh wow, like
What-
Right,
this is the
right.
vibe, you know?
What's
of
the
course.
wildest thing that's happened to you at a gig? You're like, you never know. Because I know so many times people have beat DJing, and obviously you're DJing to like people that are drunk, people that are on something,
Yeah.
people that are just there to party. You don't know what these people are going to do if they like try to climb the stage or come behind. Or have you ever had like some moments where you're just like, dude?
Definitely. Yeah. I've had a few of those, especially when it comes to like drinking and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this one bar that I play at has a hula hoop. And
Oh, wow.
this guy like, or no, I can't even remember if guy or girl. Anyways,
Yeah.
someone was just hula hooping really aggressively. And I was like, this is dangerous. I always am scared. Anytime someone pulls
Just
out
imagine
that
someone
hula hoop, I'm
demoing you just like this the whole time.
It starts going like this.
Just looking into your soul just
no.
like this.
but they like, there was
funny.
a drink right here and they
No.
totally knocked it over with the hula hoop and it flung into me, into the decks, everything. And it was,
was
thankfully
wild.
the decks still worked, but like so
Oh, wow,
many
okay.
drinks get spilled on the decks all the
Was
time.
he still going too when it happened? Like, did he
I,
hit
they
the
didn't
drink and
even
didn't
notice
stop?
anything.
Wow.
Yeah. They
Usually
didn't notice what
dedicated.
happened.
Yeah, dedicated to the
Or, like,
cause.
yeah.
Was it
Yeah.
Winston
That.
that we
Literally.
went to? Was
Winston
that it?
House, that's where we played.
That was pretty crazy because then everyone
Spill
from
a
the
drink,
audience started
doesn't even
going on the
faze you.
stage.
Yes.
Do you remember that? There was 100 people up there.
There were a lot of people,
don't
but I
understand.
liked that
It was
better,
awesome,
honestly. I was
yeah.
like, okay, I can vibe more when there are like people
They're like
vibing with me up there.
surrounding you.
Yeah, because sometimes it feels like everyone's just staring at you and you're the
Yeah.
only one on stage. But I also like that vibe.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, I was gonna say, like, as a DJ, it's almost like you want to bring like your friends, if you can, up to the booth with you, and that's like your energy to keep going.
Right.
Yep.
You know.
That definitely
so-
helps.
Have you ever had to genuinely win the crowd over? Like the crowd's just not really moving, and you're like, okay, how do I get this group to go nuts? Like, have you ever had to is it kind of like an equation when you're up there, or some
It
people are
does
just
sometimes
ready
happen.
To,
You just kind of have to try out a bunch of different things
Yeah.
and just hope that one of them hits
Yeah, yeah,
eventually.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I've definitely had some of those moments. where
Yeah.
it's like
I'm just I was
can't
just
catch a vibe.
yeah,
Right,
Well, because I was
yeah.
wondering, because it's like it's so specific to the crowd you're in. I mean, you might be in a crowd that's like super designated to house. Like that's what they want. It's because I mean, a lot of people can just categorize EDM or DJ music. It's the one thing. It's that sort of spin and
Yeah.
sort of music. But it's like some people love R&B mixes. Some people
Right.
love strictly, so what zone are you? Do you kind of float in all zones, or do you have a zone you're like really specified in this type of DJing set?
Yeah, I think it's like vocals sometimes help win a crowd back a lot of the time when you
Yeah.
have like a familiar vocal, because sometimes house can be like very much the
Oh, yeah,
same
yeah, yeah.
vibe. But yeah, I like to throw in some vocals to spice it up and hopefully win the crowd.
Yeah.
What's your favorite what are like two songs that when you finally found that connection, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like, in those beginning times where you started like mixing into each other, what
yeah,
are
I have
like,
so many of those. I can't think of one on the top of my head, but like I always take a picture if I'm
You're
in
like,
the moment,
"Yes."
because I usually like put together a playlist and I'll vibe off of that and
Right.
I'll randomly find blends where I'm like, wow, these go so well together, and I'll just take a picture and remember like,
yeah.
okay, these
Yeah.
are good ones for the future.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes for those long sets, you're just like, okay.
Okay, what are two of your? And
Man.
when you stop tapping into production more, what can we look forward to? What are some new projects that you have in the mix? And
So, well, my remix that I'm gonna try to put out this week if I can. But I'm doing a remix of "Move," the Adam Port kind music
sick.
song.
Okay.
So yeah, that one's kind of like deep housey vibes. Just did a little clip. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to get that one out soon. And then
Nice.
yeah, I'm just working on originals. I need to I always tell you this, like finding the vocals that make it. I don't know. I have to get more comfortable with using my voice. So eventually, when I get to that point, I want to like put out stuff with my own vocals and all of that. And then we're working on music too. We have a new one in the works.
You guys are working on a
actually
new one.
amazing.
Okay.
And the first song I ever co-produced is with MER BEAR. So we co-produced it together, and that was a huge gift for me and for Meredith, because we both were like, all right, like obviously top lining is like, I can do that in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But production, I have to like feel comfortable. And then she's like, well, I'm working on making my own stuff. Let's go together. And In My Nature was just such a highlight moment for me of like,
Nice.
whoa, I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can do
did
this.
it.
Yeah,
That's
we
huge.
did
No,
it.
and you helped me so much with that because I don't know, as she said, like I do a lot of production and just like beats, but I
Right.
feel like it's all the vocal is what really makes it. And when I was working with you, you're so good about just like keeping it moving and just okay, we'll get this down, and then you did the vocals so fast. I don't
Yeah.
know how she did so fast. It was crazy.
Oh no,
You're a
it
machine.
blows my mind. Yeah.
That's
But-
why it's such a collaborative
Yes.
effort. Like
Yeah.
almost all the time, the best stuff is the collaborative stuff.
Totally.
Because
Try to get
without
more.
either of us, it wouldn't come to pass. And so
Right.
I
Yeah.
like making this beautiful creation together. And I think something just to highlight you for a second is you're someone who really wants to like build people up. And no matter what you have, you give it to them. And that's a quality that like is huge for collaboration. So it's easy to work with. And I think that that's like even watching your fans, like when I get to go to your shows, they're like, MER BEAR, hello, MER BEAR, how are you doing?
dedicated
Oh my gosh.
fans.
And, like I'll walk in like a room and you'll know the whole squad. And I'll be like, yes, this makes complete sense. And so just
thank
carrying
you.
those things and being able to put it into your own crafts and your music,
huge.
like you do with other things, like with your voice. You, without knowing how to DJ, you went straight into there. So
Yeah.
to think that with your voice, you're gonna just jump right in. And I think that's a good quality that you carry. So
Thank you so much.
100%.
Yeah, I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
bless
get
you
more.
really quick.
And to backtrack for the ones that don't know, you said that you guys were top lining. What's top lining?
So top line is the vocals on top of a production. So it's not necessarily always an artist. Sometimes the vocals are not even described as a person. It's just the
Just
top
AI.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's AI. It's me AI. So it's the structure in which like the melody is on
Yeah.
top,
Okay.
and the singing and the words. And so that's
Okay.
something that I, as a writer, you do. You
Yeah.
go in and you write the top line,
Yeah.
or you
Nice.
write the
Okay.
undertone production.
Okay, nice. So is there like a plan to date for the project you guys are working on?
Soon.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
We're both
Come on,
messy
man.
girls. It's hard.
Come on.
Soon.
We
Don't-
did
don't
do
give
our
them that
one
kind of
thing,
pressure.
and we have like a good structure.
Yeah, we have it down.
Yeah, we have it down.
And you have the vocals
I have
now,
the
too,
vocals, so we're good.
we're
We just
getting there.
record it and then the final touches. So.
Nice.
Are either of your parents musicians?
Yeah, they are actually.
really?
That's kind of like
Okay.
why I
All
have
right.
That's
that
kind of how you
influence,
walked
too.
into it.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
My dad has been in bands forever, and then my mom did musical theater, so
Okay. 'cause
kind of
Okay.
why I have that
I
background.
was thinking
Yeah.
it's like,
Three.
I mean, way back in the day, they would have kids play piano because it was just something. It's like, you have your child play piano when the others are here and they play.
I like it.
I like the voice there,
accent.
Yeah,
Jake.
yeah.
The child
And
here
then,
loves play.
It's like, that was back in like the
Joey, play the piano.
the seen not heard, era of children. But these days, to have a kid play piano, I feel like it would have to be some sort of musical inclination from the parents. And so that's
Right.
why I was wondering, it's like, okay, so your parents obviously had to have some sort of background. And then I'm assuming that because your parents have both had musical pursuits, they were relatively supportive in this pursuit, right?
They were honestly, yeah.
Okay.
When I decided to go like full time DJ, they were really supportive. Of
They
it.
weren't
but it's
like,
funny
your
'cause-
business degree, what are you doing?
No, yeah, they get it. They get it. So I'm grateful for that because
Yeah.
I know it's hard to like make that jump into something
Yeah.
freelance like that. But no, they're really supportive and they're happy for me and the best, honestly.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
So are you kind of like Batman, and where DJing is sort of your alter
She is
ego,
Batman.
in a sense, and then during the day you have a completely separate pursuit, or are you just like living and breathing DJing?
Yeah. I feel like it kind of, well, this is something that I always talk to you about. Like, I don't really have an alter ego. I feel like I'm very much myself
Cool.
with my DJing
Nice.
and my life
Yeah.
at home when I'm
You
not
are.
DJing. But yeah, I don't know. That's like the hard thing I have, because like people say, oh, you should be a different persona. You should be
Yeah.
this, and that. But I'm trying to just, I don't know. I just enjoy being myself. And I feel like that's kind of what I do.
Yeah,
That's
screw
think
what
you're
people
always what
say
I've
you
done.
I
should
think you're
be.
cool. Okay, so yes.
I mean, we've got enough marshmallows. You know what I mean? Like, we got enough people wearing helmets. You don't need to. You're doing just fine. You know, if Cody Ko can be himself up on stage,
That's
then,
true. I know a lot
Or
of
Fred
DJs
again.
are themselves.
Yeah, or Fred-
like John
Fred
Summit,
again.
Yeah.
Fred again, all of them.
Yeah.
We were actually having this conversation on an earlier episode
Cody Ko probably
about
shouldn't be
authenticity, and people are craving it. You know, they're craving to hear people's voice and to see them in their natural habitat, and like to break that wall.
Yeah.
So I think it's important. I think it allows people to be personal. You make people feel safe. When people feel safe and they feel there, then they will be. And that's a huge gift. So
What's been like, I mean, I know there's probably a multitude that come with any sort of career choice like the ones we have decided to choose. But what's been some of the uphill battles for you that you didn't necessarily expect with the DJing, or maybe you did expect, but like what's been kind of like, oh, interesting, this is going to be harder than I thought, or this is tougher.
Yeah. Well, now I've kind of gotten a hang of like my flow with stuff, but I feel like at first I would kind of get discouraged if I didn't get a certain gig that I was working towards or whatever. But now I'm kind of just, I try to be okay with whatever it is and just enjoy the ups and the downs, because I know it's going to go back up eventually.
Right.
And like, I don't know, but thankfully I'm really lucky, and I have a lot of gigs right now, and I'm just grateful to be working. So I just kind of try to remind myself that I've been working so hard to get to this point, and I just have to
Right.
like enjoy that and not stress myself out.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
it's hard to like be
Yeah.
in the moment with this kind of thing. You're always thinking about what's next or what is
Yeah.
coming up, and
Yeah.
being busy all the time. But I don't know. I just try to enjoy the process now.
So
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
Beautiful.
do you like mitigate the stress? You were talking about, okay, this week I'm going to do the remix. It's like, are you a big deadline girl? Like, do you give yourself self deadlines to kind of like, that helps me at least know I'm on this pursuit? Do you have kind of like monthly goals and stuff like that? Or how do you kind of keep yourself from just going,
Yeah. I know it's a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
I try to just like with social media stuff, keep track of like how I'm doing with that, and I do give myself goals. Not like more specific goals for social media, I guess, and
Yeah.
finishing music. But a lot of it is hard because like I'll randomly get inspired one night, and like that's the other thing with
Right.
creative things is you don't really know when you're gonna get it. So I try to not put too much pressure on myself with that, but also you have to finish music too, so I know how important that is. But I don't know, I try to set like goals, and then I have a whiteboard where I put like venues I want to
Yes.
play at, or like
Whiteboards are
I want to
needed.
play at a certain country, or
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, that's my next goal, but
Like
I want to play
Tomorrowland?
at a different state, which Tomorrowland, that'd be sick.
Yeah. My buddy's been
That'll
trying
be-
to get
I'll
me
be
to
in
go
your suitcase.
forever.
No, you're coming with me. though.
Yeah.
We're performing together.
So Willie's been
Yeah.
trying to get me to go to Tomorrowland since like the beginning of time. I just
Yeah.
my
Have you been to any like?
Oh yeah, I had my
Festivals and
party
stuff?
days where I mean I did EDC, you know, I did EDC like twice, did Coachella multiple times. It's just like the thought of recovery sounds terrible because I mean trying to do that sober is so hard.
I did it.
Yeah, I know.
I
and
loved
that's
it.
great. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like trying to do it sober is hard for me. Like it's genuinely hard just because I get so exhausted. I'm like, you're going to all these places and dancing and bouncing around. I get so tired that I need something to keep me going. So I'm like, I'll like have to, I remember last time I was doing just so many Red Bull vodkas that I thought I was gonna have a heart attack.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I remember I'm like I remember at EDC where God, who went on? Who went on? Who was it that I was like literally plopped on the ground like I can't just leave me here. And I'm in my like Urban Outfitters Hawaiian
Just
shirt
leave me.
and I'm like just leave me. I've got like my camel pack on, the water thing's dripping out. I'm like
Oh
just
my
leave
gosh.
me. Just leave me. And then
Dramatic
man,
scene.
who was it? Oh my gosh, he's so big. I think he's like a Switzerland. I think he's from Sweden. Gosh, no, who is the guy? Martin
Garrix?
Martin Garrix. I don't know if he's Swedish, but Martin Garrix. And then you just hear like, You just hear him go doo 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 doo, and everyone just starts storming, and they're like stomping around me and everything. And someone, I have no idea who they are, picks me up and is like, "Come on!" And I'm just thinking,
It is true. That's the
I'm
culture.
like, I
You're like,
can't.
you got this.
Yeah.
I'm
no,
thinking about
everyone's
trying
nice.
to do that now. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude.
Oh, you're going
But
in now.
I
Yeah.
mean, I definitely would love to go do a few more, get a few more. I mean, God, I talk like I'm 80, but I just can't. I have to mentally prep myself to go
It's a lot. It
do
is.
something like that again. And then Tomorrowland is basically like the Epcot of
Music festivals?
music. Dude, it is huge. It's huge. And on top of that, they have like rides and stuff you can do while you're doing it, which is kind of like EDC-ish, but man, just absolutely absurd. But I've heard that is kind of the holy grail of reaching, you know. And then gosh, what was the other one? I can't think. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's honestly so many.
Well,
I
Miami,
can't-
there's Ultra.
Ultra.
Yeah, Ultra.
That's right.
a fun
Yeah.
weekend, Miami Music
See,
Week.
Yeah,
see, that's
yeah.
the one thing I can't do. I can't do a rave in a pool. I'm just so scared I'm getting peed on. Like,
But we had like
Well, you're not doing it. Well,
the
Ultra, you're
top
not.
thing.
Oh yeah, we had like
Yeah.
a villa.
There's
situation.
a very
yeah.
big difference between being in the pool and being at the top.
That's true.
yeah, because
Having
my
your
thing is
own
like,
pool.
you know, you've been dancing in that pool for 2 hours,
There
and
are
you haven't
some
seen a
moments
single
where you
person
don't
get
wanna
out,
be
and you
in
mean
the
to tell me
pool.
not
Right. I don't think
anyone's
I've really
been in that
been
pool?
in the pool.
I doubt it. All right. I don't know. You're gonna catch everything at a water park or a pool. Man, I get too germophobic.
Honestly, Ultra was always great for me, but that's really the
Oh,
only,
yeah,
that's
was
the only
it?
one I've been to. But the thing is, it was the humid that always got to me.
The humidity,
Yeah.
or just the humid.
The humid.
It was
the
the
humid.
humid. It was
It was the humans and the humid.
Yeah, the
okay?
humidity was
Before our
brutal.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, back when the humid came.
yeah.
So what?
I'm gonna hear about that one.
So what outside of DJing? What's like do you have any other passions that you're like for example, our last guest, we were talking about coffee.
Yep.
It turns out it doesn't drink it, but
Yeah.
they're doing like coffee on the side and a whole business on the side of that. So I was curious,
wow.
like, yeah, is there anything? Don't worry, it doesn't have to be coffee. Is there anything that that you also kind of love to escape and kind of that's the polarity of DJing, or maybe it's, you know.
Yeah, I wish I had another cool
You
thing.
don't have to.
I mean,
you don't have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is my other thing?
You don't-
I
you
feel
don't
like I have
have
other
to
things.
have-
I do other things. It's not just DJing.
You don't have to have another
Eat
thing.
good food.
Here's the
okay,
thing.
we have good friends.
Yeah.
No, that's the thing. It's like when I'm not DJing, I like to make time for my friends. And,
Yeah.
and just working out, honestly,
Yeah.
and just
Just,
getting
like,
back on
chill
the
and
grind,
hang out.
chilling, like doing the opposite. Like
Yeah.
sometimes even when I have a night off, which is very rare, I like don't even really. I don't know. Sometimes
Naps?
it's good to go out to see other DJs play, but I also enjoy like
Oh, that's
Having
an
a night-
interesting.
night
Are you
off,
like
too.
when you're
Yeah,
other
that
DJs
makes
playing?
sense.
Are you kind of like bobbing and weaving, but you're also like studying? Like,
yeah, always
Yeah.
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 I would.
I learned so much from seeing other DJs play, especially when I first went to Miami. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like going to space and
Yeah.
all of the pool parties out there. And I just got so inspired. Like going outside of LA inspires me a lot too on
Yeah.
trips. And I love traveling. And
Yeah.
Did you ever apprentice anyone, or have you looked into someone trying to apprentice or kind of like ghost them a little bit?
do you mean like represent?
No,
Like,
sorry.
sorry.
I mean like you were talking about being inspired and watching other people play and everything. Is there anyone
Oh,
in
like-
your life that DJs that you've ever like, oh, hey, can I just come watch you do a set, or can I come, you know what I mean, to kind of get
Yeah.
inspo?
I've had so much DJ inspiration
Yeah.
from when I first started DJing. I would like cold DM other DJs
Yeah,
in
okay.
Vegas and stuff like that, which is so funny because this one Vegas DJ
Mm-hmm.
randomly reached out to me and was like, hey, congrats on all the things you're doing and stuff. And I forgot I had DM'd him from forever
No
ago.
kidding.
Yeah. So I got a
Wow.
little,
Wow.
yeah, I
You
got
planted the
inspiration from,
seeds.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would reach out to people and thankfully I had a lot of DJ friends when I first started. And
Right.
when I first got into it, just a
Is
lot
it-
of support from other people. Not like one person specifically, but
Yeah.
I was
That's
just
where
gonna
parents,
ask.
honestly,
Yeah, that's great.
Musically inspired.
Would
me a
you
lot.
say it's a supportive community from your experience?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm lucky that I have that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I know that it's hard when you're first breaking into it and it's really overwhelming. But thankfully with LA and San Diego, I go to San Diego a lot. I have a lot of DJ friends there.
Nice.
San Diego's
And across
awesome.
the country, like one of my really good DJ friends is in Florida and all over New York. I mean, I have so many just from social media and
Nice.
all that.
Yeah.
But thankfully everyone's really nice. And the people that aren't DJs too, like the people that just have been supporting me since the beginning are so nice. I've had followers that have been following me since I first started. And
Oh, that's
That's
sick.
crazy.
Okay, so you've been building. Yeah, that's so sick.
it's been a long, yeah.
Yeah.
long
Yeah, because how
build.
long have you been doing it now?
Well, I first started getting gigs like monthly, I would say, in 2019.
Okay,
But then COVID hit, so
Right.
it's kind of a break.
Right.
And then I've been doing it full time for 2 years.
oh, like
Because
that's
I was side hustling
like
it for a while.
making your living strictly
Yeah.
DJing. No way. That's
She's
sick.
killing it. She's
Holy
amazing.
crap.
Trust me, the next time you see her, she really is gonna be a headliner at like one
Wow.
of these big festivals.
That is
I'm
so
gonna come and I'm
sick.
gonna sing
You
our
too.
songs like this.
So
I like that.
That's our goal. Yeah,
That's our
it's
goal.
happening.
awesome.
I mean, it's already gonna.
It's
happen.
already happening.
so you were able to go full time 2 years ago?
Yeah, it just got to
Wow.
a point where I was like starting to get travel gigs, and I would have to take off time
Mm-hmm.
from work, and then also I was commuting, and it was just taking a lot from
Right.
time that I wanted
Yeah.
to spend producing and
Yeah.
progressing this career. And I figured like now's the time to
Take
just
it,
go
yeah.
for it. But everyone I worked at Live Nation. Everyone there was
yeah,
so
yeah.
supportive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the best job to work while I was side hustling.
you were in
this
the belly of the
DJ
beast.
career.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was
Yeah.
I was the receptionist there, and I
Yeah.
just met everyone that would come in, and yeah, I was really lucky for
Nice.
that for sure.
That's such a good feeling
So
when you're
what's it-
doing what you love and it becomes full time.
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like, wow,
Yeah.
I get to do this.
But it's also
And you guys all are the
we
same.
Right.
talk about this though. It's combating that once you're doing what you love for your primary source of income, there's a certain stress that comes with that, and combating that stress and finding a balance is huge.
Right.
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 It's so huge
Yeah.
because
It
it's
is.
like
Because you put your self-worth almost
on
into
in your work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Your work
Yeah.
is literally your what puts food on the table is what you're doing, and that's such a balance. So, what is your week like then? If you're like, what is a casual? How many sets are you doing a week? Like, what is?
Sometimes it's like, I mean, last week it was 4, I think. But
Nice.
this week it's
Wow.
more chill. So
Yeah.
it kind of just depends on whatever I have. Like sometimes I do corporate events throughout
Yeah,
the
yeah,
week
yeah, yeah.
or influencer events.
Yeah.
Like our
I want to
earnings
be
are up
doing
this
like
year.
big club shows only,
coming.
Yeah.
They're coming.
but we'll get to that point.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah.
process.
But that's nice. So it's like majority, like last week was majority, boom, like
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
getting booked. Yeah, and then you
I'll
have a
do
chill
some
week.
day
Yeah.
gigs that are like rooftops
Yeah,
or I'll do I have like spots in Santa Monica that I play at every month. So I'll fill out my
Yeah.
month with those, and then I'll try to add more on. I do a lot of San Diego shows.
Right.
And then, yeah, now I'm doing like more.
So is your
traveling
sleep
gigs, too.
schedule just completely out of whack? I mean,
Sometimes,
what?
yeah,
Because
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the night has to start late, right? For the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. What's a typical like time frame look like for you on that?
yeah, I'll fall asleep at like 4 or 3 on those nights usually. It depends. And then sometimes I'll randomly get inspiration to like make a TikTok. I don't know why I always make my TikToks when I'm back from the club. Because
Yeah.
I'm already ready. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm already
It
feeling
makes
the
sense. It's okay.
inspiration.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm the same.
The ones that I have my sunglasses on, those
Yeah.
are usually the ones that I'm like,
the next
coming
morning.
back. Yeah. But yeah, I'll usually get inspiration from like being out, and I'll be hyped.
Nice.
And that's the other thing. It's hard to kind of calm down when you're
Yeah.
so hyped from the,
I mean, the
energy of
energy.
a set or
Yeah.
something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I usually just sleep in the next
See,
day.
this makes so
Yeah.
much. This makes so much sense to me now when you were talking about like, oh yeah, making time for friends and making time for a social life. Because at first I was just like, well, I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you're doing if a busy week is 4 to 5 sets,
Yeah.
and you're
you're done at like 3, 4
doing
a.m.
3 or 4 a.m. I mean, it's like
And travel ones.
and travel
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Wow. And when
Yeah,
did
you're
those
not-
start?
So
those a little
those
more
started
recent?
in 2021. I got my first out of state gig, which was
Sick.
in Austin, and that was a huge opportunity. So
Nice.
Yeah.
my friend, well now my DJ friend,
Yeah.
he found my music and used it in an Instagram reel, and then
Wow.
basically he was like, oh, we became friends through Instagram, whatever, and
Yeah.
then he offered to like book me for his residency spot in Austin. And
Yeah.
so that was my first opportunity doing that. And then
Nice.
I kind of just grew it from there where like I would try to make connections with people in Miami. And then I would go out there first, make more connections, whatever, get comfortable with Miami. And then I reached out and then I was able to get opportunities out there. And then, yeah, it just kind of happened. Like, and then once you play in one spot and people see you playing there, then I got Nashville from that too.
Right.
So it's
Nice.
like, yeah, I kind of just grew it that way, honestly.
So then the
and
hustle-
TikTok too helped a lot for.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then the hustle just doesn't stop.
It's just
Yeah,
like a
it's always-
it's like a
Yeah.
collateral effect.
You're
You're
just
gonna do great,
completely-
and when you do great, people want to bring you back and take you other places.
Way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So fun.
Wow. Okay. So then, when in the beginning, were you kind of? Do you have to kind of prove yourself? So are you taking kind of freebie sets, and you're like, "Let me just come DJ. Like, don't pay me anything. Just give me the few hours, or like, I'll take nothing or little. Like, how does it start before you know, or was it kind of out of the jump? It's like, oh, here's a paying gig, or how long
so-
before you started seeing the wealth in something you're also just in love with? You know what I mean?
At first it was hard to just get gigs in the
That-
first
right.
place. So I would call like even restaurants and stuff and I'd try to like get gigs that way.
we're in
Just
Olive
cold
Garden.
reaching out,
Yeah.
but it didn't really, that didn't really go anywhere, but it's fine. But eventually I think it was just my SoundCloud mixes or something.
Yeah,
One of my
cool.
friends
SoundCloud,
now,
wow.
he found my
Yeah.
stuff and then he offered to put me onto like the Santa Monica DJing scene. And thankfully I was able to get proper gigs
Yeah.
through that. So I didn't really say I'll play for free. I mean, I
Yeah.
did like college gigs that
I
were
see what you mean.
for
Yeah,
fun.
Yeah.
You just
But-
built it.
Yeah, I
You
kind of just
up.
built it. And then once I got those
Yeah.
opportunities, then it just kind of grew from there. And then I started getting more and more. And then
And
Yeah.
then since you kind of represent yourself through trial and error, did you kind of start to see like, well, this is a gig and this is what I would quote because this is what I think I'm worth for this time and from doing X, Y, and Z? Is that how you kind of figured it out?
Yeah.
Because you do represent yourself, right? So it's like no cuts, baby. It's all you get the full 100%.
yeah, no, it's definitely
Yeah.
hard, especially when it's like, I don't know, every gig is so different. So I have a hard time sometimes with that. But I kind of have a good idea, like from other things I've done, I can base it off of that. Okay, travel time or whatever. Or
Right.
equipment.
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
it depends, but it's different every time. So it's like
Makes sense.
someone asks for your rate, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, you do
It's
so many
so
random-
relative.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys get it too. It's like,
Well, yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a buffoon with all that, so I'm just literally like, all right, team, call me when the deal's done.
I've had to learn to like ask for, you know, payment because a lot of the time, especially being a singer songwriter, a singer and artist,
Yeah.
it's not as moving as like having like DJ coming into a set, being there. And so a lot of the
Yeah.
time, not that it's always like this, but you're treated like, well, you're lucky to be here.
Yeah, you're like the
Yeah.
piece of the
Yeah.
whole thing rather
And-
than the right.
Yeah, and so that's something I really had to learn about being valued in like I work really hard and I put a lot into my craft
Right.
and I build a lot of connections and community and I come with a lot of things. So
Right.
how do I ask for that back so that I'm not over here not being able to pay rent but then giving you all of my resources?
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
like that's been a hard conversation with myself and with other people because I do represent myself to be like, all right, well, you got to pay for something because I understand that there's value in this, that we're
Yeah.
collaborating in this. I love collaborations. It's been something beautiful, but I also need to be paid in other places. So I love that you've built a set value for yourself to say, no, this is who I am, pay me for it. And it's worked. And that's a beautiful gift to have. It took me a while to.
no. And
you
you're
know,
so good with
recommend.
all that stuff too. Like Kirsten's helped me a lot with like business things and
Yeah.
all that. You're
I
so,
love
you're so
you.
good.
How much are they gonna offer you? They promise to get my coffee when I get there, and then one on the way back, and that's it.
That's it.
It's like we've
And then
got to change
possi-
that deal.
Yeah, possible payment that they'll talk after the performance.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
So, so then you're fully DJing now, full time. That's insane. Okay.
That's huge.
For-
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Like the last 2 years. And so where's the flagpole? What's like the big one that you're trying? Is it residency? Is that kind of the lock in?
Definitely working towards that. I will say just doing more like festivals and being booked for my music and
Like
the
yeah.
stuff that I'm making. I kind of want to just figure out what my sound is eventually. I know
Right.
all this stuff comes with time,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's kind of the next goal is just getting those higher level gigs and more traveling and all
like
that. But
headlining and
yeah, like headlining and
Yeah.
festival. I love the festival.
What's
vibe.
the top
I'm
one?
sure.
If tomorrow you're like you could get this call from this festival, like what's always been like, oh my God, I want to play this one.
Honestly, EDC was number one.
Oh,
for me.
wow.
I mean,
So-
yeah.
wow,
So that
so
was
you
a full
caught-
circle, but it was
No
I
kidding.
want to do like. I mean, we'll just get better every year, honestly.
Yeah.
But.
Right, right,
day.
right.
What was that? So what was the aftermath of that? Which I'm always very curious about, because I was thinking like when I was growing up, I had this one type of project that I was like, I'll do this my entire life till I get to do this project, and then I got to do that very early, and it was awesome. But then I also had this, oh my God, wait, that was the flagpole. What do I
Yeah,
like?
like, what next?
I literally
That's
was
the
just
thing
like,
with,
what's next?
I was literally just like
DJing,
kind of
it's never
frozen
ending.
for a bit, because I'm just like, well, I don't even. That was it. Now what am I aiming toward? What's the next one? So what was that like after you were talking about like trying to stay in the moment and stuff? So did you have kind of a moment like that too, or after you played it, you're like, well, what now?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of full circle.
Yeah.
Experiencing those things, but I just have to just keep moving. I don't
Yeah.
know, especially because it's always so fast. Like everything goes so fast too
Yeah,
with this
yeah.
DJ life. But just I don't know. It was definitely that was a crazy one for me. But
Yeah.
but now I have to make new goals and play
Yeah,
a bigger
yeah,
stage
yeah,
next year or whatever.
Keep
Yeah.
building.
Yeah,
Just keep
just-
building.
Keep
the
growing.
momentum.
Exactly. So
Right.
So are you starting to collab more with artists then? Like obviously you guys are
Yeah.
collabing. Is that kind of like the next evolution in what you're doing, is to start working with more artists on your tracks and stuff? And then obviously
Yeah.
doing your own singing as well, right?
Yeah,
Using your own voice.
definitely. I've gotten more comfortable working with other people now, thanks to you. Honestly, you were the first
love you.
person I worked with, like actually making a full song from the start to the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've worked with other DJs, like I've gotten advice from other DJs. They've showed me their
Mm-hmm.
production stuff, but working with someone like that is just, it's so cool. And I want to do more
Yeah.
of that now. So yeah, definitely gotten more comfortable. And it's also just like, it's sometimes scary when you're working with someone else. I feel like, oh, do I know as much as they know? Or
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I just feel like if I say something wrong, I don't know. It's stressful when you work with someone else that
Totally.
has been doing it for a while. But at the same time, you're always learning something.
Yeah, and you're always
it's a
going to
good-
bring something
Right,
to the table
right.
that someone else isn't going to bring.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
that's
too.
why there's think tanks. That's why it's like you always have your own perspective. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
You
So,
have a
you know-
voice. It's your
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. yeah.
Right, right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm sorry. I feel like I've asked like 80,000 questions.
Well,
I mean,
no, it's
that's
like-
good.
I mean, I guess
it's
that's the
very-
point. It's the point of the show. But
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm like check.
No, you're good at it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like,
Within your head.
He is really good at it. He keeps a good mental check of all the things that someone says. and he
yeah,
keeps- it's a good
No, I'm
quality he
impressed.
has.
Like,
I
this is
try.
great. This-
He
you guys are
remembers
killing
the
it.
things.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
try.
Yeah.
I try. So okay. So then the last one before we send you home and let you get some sleep. This is kind of an interesting one. I know in the acting world, the dating life is really hard because of like the industry and everything like that.
Oh, that's a good question.
How have you kind of navigated it? Where are you at? Do you even care about it? Like where are
Yeah.
you at in your life with that right now? Is it just like my work is my baby?
Yeah, honestly, that's like it is hard,
Yeah.
especially in the scene when you're working crazy hours. Like some people don't get it,
Yeah.
but thankfully, you know, some people do. And I haven't really, I don't know. I'm kind of just like focused on
Yeah.
the DJ stuff
your
right
thing.
now, to be
Yeah,
honest.
yeah.
Like,
Well, because I was gonna say too, like typically actors ended up dating actors or
Yeah, I think
musicians.
that's
ended
why
up
a
dating
lot of-
musicians. I was gonna say our DJs date DJs because it's
Yeah.
like at least they get
Yeah.
babes. When's your set? Mine's at 6 a.m. Till 10.
I'll
or-
see you when I see
yeah,
you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll see you
I
when
think
I
that's
see
why
you.
a lot of people are.
Yeah, it's like,
that
did you
bad.
steal my remix? You know, all these-
Remix.
I can't find it. I feel like you stole my remix. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. yeah. Well,
Guys,
I've
make
emptied
sure-
my tank.
What were you about to say?
I would just want to, like, please tell the busy babies where they can find you, support you, you know, keep ahead of your journey so they can maybe come see one of your shows.
Yeah, busy babies. We got to get
yeah.
you out to a
Gotta
show
get
soon.
you.
I will crawl my way back to EDC if you're headline. You're playing when
on,
you
when?
headline.
Yes.
I
I'll be there,
corrected.
girl.
I
too.
I'll be
corrected.
there on stage.
Yes.
with me.
I
It's gonna be a thing.
self-corrected. Yeah, we'll
But-
absolutely be there. But yeah, real quick, let's all the socials. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Okay, so everything is DJ MER BEAR, DJ MERBEAR.
Okay.
Because sometimes people
Hey,
Yeah.
it's good to spell it out.
just to let you know.
Yeah.
Important.
And then YouTube is just MER BEAR, Spotify MER BEAR, all of that. I have my mixes
Amazing.
on there.
And then
And yeah, thank you guys.
also,
Perfect.
you said you're working on a new remix.
Yes,
And-
new remix is coming out.
Right.
Huge.
And so I feel like by the time this is out, it might also be out.
Yeah.
So be on lookout for
Look
it.
out
is
for
what
Look
we're
out
getting
for
at.
it.
SoundCloud remix.
Yes. I love you so much.
love you.
You are amazing. Thank you so much for just
Yeah,
taking the
thank you.
time to be here with us. And
Oh, thank you
Yes.
guys. You guys are
Exactly.
so good
Yeah.
at this. Like honestly, I was pretty nervous, but I'm glad
No, don't be.
it all works out.
it's great conversation.
Yeah,
If
you
you're
guys
ever
just have a
nervous-
good conversation. Like it flows. It's
Don't
not
worry.
like-
I'll just talk the whole time. Don't even sweat it. It's one of my talents. Yeah.
We all do. All right. Love
All right,
you, busy
busy babies.
baby.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.